Hi guys, thought I'd do a little video. As some of you might know, I've been having a bit of trouble with the engine in the yellow Westfield. It's a Suzuki Hayabusa, first generation engine. Problem is that it just simply won't change up into 6th gear. Just get a load of knocking and banging and horrible noises when you try and change up to 6th. So the engine's come out, we've split the upper and lower crankcase. So let's have a look at that. Right, here's the lower crankcase and the rest of the engine. Here you can see decompression plate, because this engine's turbocharged, so this little plate I think is 2 or 3 millimeters thick. Just lowers the compression ratio a bit. I'm not sure what that date is on there. That probably coincides with when the engine was apparently rebuilt, so I'm not sure if this has been balanced or polished or what. It looks okay. ARP bolts, yeah, it looks alright. So this is the bottom of the crankcase. This is the transmission. So this is currently sitting as it would have done on the bike. So this is the bottom, and this is the top. And this is where the kind of gear shift lever would be. Imagine that's the gear shift lever. So I've done this so we can actually watch it kind of working. So at the minute it's in neutral. So this is the output from the engine. In this case, because it's in a car, this would go to the prop shaft. If this was still a bike, then this would be the front sprocket. So you can see the engine's in neutral now. We turn the output, nothing really happens. There's a bit of drag, so the clutch is turning slightly. So we can go through the gearbox, see what happens. So if we go up one here, right, that's now in first gear. Okay. No, can't go up any further. So down, and we should be back in neutral. Yeah. So we'll go down through the box, changing from neutral up into 6th. We'll try and go into 6th. So neutral, down one into 2nd, down again into 3rd. Doesn't change gear that well when there's no drive for it. So in 3rd, down again into 4th. Okay, down once more into 5th. It's not going. 5th, okay, that's 5th. Now what we want to be watching out is, I know that from 5th to 6th, these two gears move across so that this gear engages with this gear. So let's see what happens. So 5th, down one, 6th. Now the problem is that they're not, where are we? They're not, you see the dogs, they're not engaging. I mean, that is as hard as I can get it into 6th, and the dogs are not engaging. Those gears should engage, so that's why we're getting no drive, because basically they can spin past each other. If we go back into 5th, you'll see what's supposed to happen. Okay, so let's go up one. You'll see these two gears move across to the left. There we go. So you can see they're nicely. The dogs there nicely meet. Down again into 6th, and it just won't go far enough across. There you go, they're not meeting. So no drive in 6th gear. So I think it's going to be this clutch fork. We'll take the gears out and have a look. That clutch fork is going to be bent or badly worn. So I've just moved the gears over from the lower crankcase to the upper crankcase, so they're back in here. So they're still turning there. That's in neutral. So here we can see the selector forks. I think I called them clutch forks earlier. Gear selector forks. So this is the fork that's responsible from changing into 5th and 6th gear. So this is the suspect one, really. So these forks sit on this selector shaft, and they have little ends to them which travel in the little grooves. These little grooves of this little barrel. and as you go around the gears, they follow the grooves in the barrel and move the forks into different positions to select different cogs. So we can probably try it a little bit. So you can see them jumping around. Well, you can just about see the wear on this selector fork. I mean, that is pretty worn. I mean, it's got a massive lip on it. So I need to take that out. I mean, it's obviously worn, but I'm going to measure it and see how worn it is. That's that side. That's the side that really would push it into the 6th gear. So this is the side that's looking worst. In fact, the other side looks fine. So it's really worn on that side. Actually, if you look at the gears themselves, they're quite worn. This is the gear. This one here is the gear that the clutch fork will be rubbing against, and it's probably hard to see, but it's actually worn the side of the gears away, and has actually created a sharp lip on this right side. That's quite a lip on the gear there. So I'm gonna have to measure the gap between these two gears, and it probably isn't in spec anymore. Probably have to replace these two gears. Right, a bit of an update. I'm getting the gear shaft out on the bench, taking it apart. There's a bit more to it. It's not just the shifter fork, I don't think. So let's have a look at it. Gear shaft on the bench. This is the clutch, or what's left of it. This is the shaft. This is what I'm taking apart. Here is the 6th gear selector fork, which you can see is quite badly, or the 5th and 6th gear selector fork, which is quite badly worn. So that would go in there, and to go into 5th, it would go to the right, and we're engaged in 5th at the minute actually, so that's engaged 5th. To go into 6th gear, it would slide to the left, and we're engaged with 6th. But what I've just found when I'm taking this apart is that the circlip, which is supposed to be in a little groove on the end, has actually broken off. So there's nothing to stop this end gear sliding as far as it wanted to the left hand side, which would mean that this gear can slide as far as it wants to the left, which would also prevent 6th gear being engaged. Would prevent these dogs from sliding across and engaging. So there's the circlip, which has failed. I don't know where the two ends of it are either at the minute, so they must be in the engine somewhere. So I've got to find the end of that circlip, but that also explains why 6th gear couldn't be selected, because there's nothing to stop the cog just sliding away from it.